In continuing my list of my top 30 favorite films of all time, we have reached number 22 on my list, and you remember back in 2013 when we all thought that Robert Downey Jr. reuniting with writer-director Shane Black on Iron Man 3 was going to be awesome, and then it just proved that maybe Shane Black should not be directing big-budgeted movies like that, because when he got the second chance to do that, to make amends with The Predator, it did not work out well either. But, well, we got excited for Iron Man 3, and you can thank my number 22 favorite film of all time for doing that, and that is, of course, 2005's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Shane Black's track record is pretty amazing when you really think about it. He's written so many great action movies in his career. He's the one that wrote all the action comedy He's the one that wrote the action comedy that took the genre to new levels, the Lethal Weapon movies. He wrote all the sequels, which for the most part are decent, but nowhere up to the greatness of the first film. He also wrote stuff like The Last Boy Scout, Last Action Hero, The Long Kiss Goodnight, 3 great action movies from the 90s, and then he kind of disappeared after that. In the latter half of the 90s and early 2000s, Shane Black really didn't do a whole lot after The Long Kiss Goodnight, and that was before he returned to form with this film, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And the story is that you have a petty thief played by Robert Downey Jr. posing as an actor brought to Los Angeles for an unlikely audition, and finds himself in the middle of a murder investigation along with his high school dream girl played by Michelle Monaghan, and a detective also played by Val Kilmer, who's been training him for his upcoming role. Now, the reason why this movie works as well as it does is because it has the trademarks of a Shane Black scripted action comedy. You've got the great characters, really funny, sharp, and clever R-rated comedy, solid action sequences. It takes place around Christmas time. I mean, that's the Lethal Weapon movies were... Lethal Weapon 1 was set around Christmas time. And it just all comes together to make a great movie in the style of those classic 80s action comedies, something that he would also bring into his next movie. The next best movie he directed, which was The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, and that took place, I believe, I was going to say it took place in the 70s, but I could be wrong on that. I haven't seen it in a while, though, but I do need to watch it again at some point. But either way, it's a great movie. You should definitely check that one out as well. But back to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Robert Downey Jr. is incredible in this movie, and let's be honest, he spent much of his career being a great actor, even during his notorious drug days. Like, he was still a great actor overall. He's great in Wonder Boys, he's great in The Singing Detective. I mean, go watch him on Ally McBeal when he played Callista Flockhart's love interest. He was great on that series, and he's part of why that 4th season of that show worked so well. And, I mean, here he's given his best performance behind Iron Man, delivering some really great and hilarious moments. And it's like that right at the beginning when he's mistakenly assumed to be an actor and brought in for a screen test. And it's just so beautifully crafted and hilariously written, brilliantly crafted and hilariously written even. But it's not until Downey Jr. teams up with Val Kilmer's character where the film goes from being a good movie to a great movie. The chemistry between those two is just absolutely hilarious. They work off each other so well. The best line in the movie is when he's talking about the definition of the word idiot.
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
A picture of me?
No! The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are.
It's just a great line. It's so hilarious, and I use that line whenever I talk to somebody, and then they say something stupid that warrants me using that line. I mean, it's a great line. It's probably the best. It's my favorite line in the entire movie overall. It's not just the chemistry between Downey Jr. and Kilmer that works. The chemistry between Downey Jr. and Michelle Monaghan works really well. And you can definitely tell these characters have a history together, and they still have feelings for each other. They also have those great, funny scenes together, like the scene where she closes the door on him and slams it on her finger, slicing it off. And that's a great scene. And Michelle Monaghan, man, she's not only a great actress in this movie, but she's hot as hell in this. And the movie knows what exactly it needs to do to get your attention. I mean, it's such a great. It's like she's great in the movie as acting wise, but they did a good job of making her look incredibly sexy, man. Because, man, she looked pretty good. But not a lot of people talk about Corbin Burnson, who plays the film's antagonist. He's also really good in here, even though the role isn't really fully focused on him until close to the 3rd act. He's still pretty good in the film, and you forget that this guy was a great actor for a number of years before he eventually went on to become a game show host around this time. But with all that greatness that Kiss Kiss Bang Bang offers, you gotta wonder what happened with Iron Man 3, which starts off great in the first 2 acts, blending that comedy and action like previous Shane Black films do. It takes place around Christmas time, but that 3rd act just ruins the movie when and was ruining what made the first two acts work as well because of the crazy and ridiculous twist they threw into that film. I think there's more than they're not telling us on the decision made for that third act. I mean, who knows? Maybe Kevin Feige got involved in the third act, and that's why it didn't end up working out as well as it should have. But Iron Man 3 should have been a whole lot better than what it ended up being. But getting back into the realm of the review here, I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's such a great, enjoyable action comedy. It combines everything we want to see in a great action comedy. Great characters, smart and sharp comedy, great dark humor, solid action scenes, great chemistry between its stars, and just an overall solid plot that all comes together for an enjoyable film experience that warrants repetitive watching every time you finish watching it. It's a masterpiece action comedy from the master of the action comedy, Shane Black, man. I mean, Shane frickin' Black. That's pretty much all I gotta say about this one. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, my number 22 favorite film of all time. My 22nd favorite film of all time, I should say it like that. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you want to see the last video I did talking about Midnight in Paris, check it out here. Check out the playlist. And I'll see you guys next week. So until then, take care.